Hey guys, welcome to Your Soul Sexy, where I teach you how to create your healthiest, happiest, sexiest life. I hope you enjoy this video. We've got lots of fun stuff planned. If you do, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up. And this is actually one of my first videos. I'm here with my friend Kelly Leveque, who is a celebrity nutritionist to people like Chelsea Handler, Molly Sims, Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Any others that you can name? I don't know. Some of them are secret.
I have some NDAs. Yeah. I just started working with Jennifer Garner for her new film and Sophia Bush for her new. She has a new show coming up as well.
That's awesome. So she's kind of a big deal.
They're just all friends. So
no, she's very humble. This is Kelly's first book called Body Love, and I love it. It's live in balance, weigh what you want, and free yourself from food drama forever. And girl, there's a lot of drama about food.
Tell me about it.
It's so confusing.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, I want to get into food in a second, but I also want to talk about just the fact that your book is called Body Love. And I think that that's so timely right now because we live in a society that's so obsessed with body perfection in general, and constantly comparing ourselves to other people. And I think it's become so detrimental to our mental well-being and our physical well-being. Like, people don't even understand that when you have those thoughts and you're comparing and you're stuck in this constant state of wanting to be perfect, it causes literal stress on your body. And people don't understand how that's manifesting. You know, and I think that we've really lost all sense of what it means to be beautiful today because we're focused solely on our outsides. So I'd love to hear from you, in your opinion, what does sexy mean to you?
Yeah. Well, I don't think you can be sexy without a true inner self-love.
Yeah.
For who you are as a person and for your body, whatever size it is. I wouldn't say that my body is anywhere near perfection in regards to like what we're seeing on the cover of magazines. I have the parts of my body that I really like. Yeah. I have the parts of my body that could be enhanced. Yeah. But the thing is like I am in a place where I feel really comfortable being naked.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's okay that I have a little cellulite, and it's okay that things aren't like they were when I was a senior in high school. But, you know, that comes a lot with self-love and taking care of myself. I think I feel sexy when I make the choices to work out. I feel sexy when I make the choices to eat clean. I'm more in touch with my body when I'm physically moving it and when I'm nourishing it. And that doesn't mean that I don't have a cupcake and a glass of wine. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I make those choices and I kind of weigh out the benefits. Like, do I really want it? Who am I celebrating? And I think that's really important to me because clients always ask, like, what do you do when you indulge? And I'm like, what's the important time for me to indulge? Like, I'd love to have champagne on my anniversary. Yeah. I'd love to have a glass of red wine and a nice piece of pie on Christmas or Thanksgiving. Yeah. But I'm not going to celebrate everybody's 5th birthday party when I don't even have a kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just kind of like prioritizing who are we celebrating and when are we indulging? Because I think having a glass of wine with your best friends is really different than having a glass of wine at a corporate like networking event where you're nervous. Yeah. Yeah. Like, we need to get over those times because if all of those kind of start to go away, then you will find that balance.
Yeah, I love that because I know everyone has so many questions about what they should eat, what they should not eat, and we're flooded with information now. People are so confused. What do you think is the biggest problem right now in the food industry? Would you say it's sugar?
I don't like sugar.
Yeah.
No, I would say that sugar is a big issue. I also think that there's a lot of fear mongering going on the internet, like whether it's to be afraid of gluten or dairy or nightshades or lectins or fillers or emulsifiers. And then there's this whole other side of it where you should be having turmeric every day, apple cider vinegar every day. You should switch to matcha. It becomes like a to-do list that we don't have enough time to do all the healthy things.
So I get overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. I just like the simplicity. I really like light structure. I really like understanding the biology because I don't want people to feel bad about stuff. Like, if you decide I want a piece of, let's say, like gluten-free toast, or I want a rice with my sushi, I don't overanalyze it to the point where I'm like, rice is better than the bread or the bread is better than the rice. I just say, I'm making a choice knowing that this at the end of the day will end up as blood sugar in my body. And I know how my body's going to respond to that. And I'll just make choices to balance my blood sugar later. or I'll work out with you
Yeah.
and like have a smoothie and maybe have a salad with protein and veggies to like and good healthy fat to stay full. And then I'm going to go into sushi night not feeling bad about it.
But for the most part, I feel like people are living a super high sugar diet, whether they realize it or not. And when it comes to nutrition, you obviously know I'm really focused on inflammation and preventing disease, and sugar we know is one of the biggest culprits. So I think it's helpful for people to understand what's actually happening in our bodies when it comes to disease, when it comes to weight gain, when we have high amounts of sugar in our diet.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things that people can learn. So whether it's coming from added sugars in a product or it is just a high refined carbohydrate, like a rice flour cracker that might be gluten-free, right? It's all going to end up as blood sugar. And so the way it works with carbohydrates, and I like to like use my arm for people to see my veins. Anytime we have a carbohydrate, it's going to break down to blood sugar. And it's breaking down actually immediately in your mouth with a saliva enzyme. And it goes dropping into your stomach, and hydrochloric acid and more enzymes are dropped into your stomach to kind of unlock the nutrition and break that product down. And so carbohydrates break down to blood sugar, and blood sugar is absorbed, or it's delivered to your bloodstream, and that's actually your blood sugar going up. So if you picture yourself having 10 rice crackers in the morning, then I want you to picture like 10 mini rice cracker emojis floating in your bloodstream. And it doesn't just stay there. It's not allowed to stay there. If someone has diabetes and they don't release the hormone insulin, they'd have to inject themselves. But most of us who are healthy have our pancreas that works, and our pancreas releases insulin. And you can kind of think about insulin like a ferry boat or the claw from Denny's to get a stuffed animal, whatever. Like, analogies are great, but basically it's going to pick up that sugar if it's a like ferry boat, and it's going to dock it in a cell because it can't stay in your bloodstream. And we're constantly bringing our blood sugar up, and our body is using hormones to bring it right back down. And so where we store our sugar is first as fuel in our liver and our muscles as glycogen. So if you were ever an athlete, growing up and your parents had like carbo loading parties, pasta parties, or if you ran a marathon or a triathlete, people talk about using gels and glucose to really to continue to fuel your muscles and have that fuel available. But unfortunately, because so many things have sugar, from tomato sauces and yogurts and condiments, and then on top of that, even grains and breads and crackers and chips and all of that, like it's all ending up here, and we're putting it in our liver and putting it in our muscles, and it doesn't fit there. It stores as fat, and it's a pretty inflammatory process because it needs to be converted to a triglyceride. It needs to, be delivered via a cholesterol particle. So if you're producing a lot of triglycerides, you're going to be producing an elevated amount of cholesterol, and then those are going to go store in fat cells. And the worst is that insulin lasts for a really long time when we eat refined carbohydrates. So let's say we had our crackers at 6 a.m. and insulin's released. It can last somewhere between 6 and 8 hours. And insulin is a fat storage hormone. It's really good at telling our body we shouldn't be burning fat and that we're in a storage state. When you have like rice or quinoa or something that is sweet potato, something that is wrapped in fiber and slower to digest, you don't have that overreaction. And the minute you can add a little fat or protein to that, or like fiber veggies, and you're having real meals, then the response to that isn't, ooh, blood sugar spike and crash. It's more of an elongated curve, which is a lot what I talk about in the book. Is it's not that carbs are bad, because if you're active and your muscles are insulin sensitive, they're fuel first. And you have the room to store it. It's not like, I don't like to bucket things good or bad. I just like to understand on a biological level, hey, if I'm traveling a lot and you and I aren't working out 2 to 3 days a week, and I'm not getting to SoulCycle or yoga, like I'm probably don't have the flexibility to be having the refined carbohydrates and the squashes and the starches that I would have if I'm being active with you.
And most people are sitting at a desk all day from 8 to 6. So we're completely sedentary, and all your meals include carbohydrates. And then we have this constant roller coaster of feeling super tired and crashing. And just realizing that that's really coming from the sugars.
It knows the difference between like a cookie, cake, and quinoa, but only in the fact that it's the rate at which it's being released into your bloodstream.
So now we know what you really don't eat. So I'm curious to actually see what you do eat. So do you care if we get into your fridge?
I'll welcome you happily into my fridge.
Okay, let's go check it out.
Okay,
so if you've ever wanted to know what a celebrity nutritionist fridge looks like, this is it.
We're going in.
It's
like grits.
Yeah. Got a lot of greens.
Yeah, so we just went grocery shopping yesterday, so I have a lot of food in here. But, I mean, I have like a bunch of kale. I'm super obsessed with these.
I need to get those.
I haven't filled them yet, but I normally fill them with my veggies. It's one of the things that I do to make the week easier. So sometime this weekend, I'll wash and clean my veggies. Like in here, I have celery, I have carrots, I have a big cucumber, some kale, obviously lots of veggies. I really love Organic Girl. Everything is triple washed. I just hate washing greens.
Yeah, I'm
willing to pay like the 20 cents more for washed. And normally what I do is I'll clean all my veggies and throw them in these guys. And these are OXO containers with a charcoal filter. It makes your veggies last longer, maybe about a week versus like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. I buy them for a week and then half of them go bad.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll kind of like clean, wash, chop, and that's great and super easy if I want to throw it on a baking tray and roast something or put together a quick salad. Because if all this stuff is still in the greens next week, in the green bags, I literally will be like, sweet green, ordering. Yeah. So that's really helpful. And then every single week I probably grab 2 to 3 proteins. I don't really prep for more than 1 or 2 days. I get sick of the food by Thursday.
I do too.
So I have some ground beef and some ground turkey and a whole chicken. And I have some grass-fed steaks from Butcher Box back here, which is a great company if you like red meat because it's 100% pasture-raised and really affordable, like $6 a pound.
I need to try them out.
So what I'll probably do is make some meatballs out of one of those, and then another night I'll make some tacos because those are ground beef is so easy and fast.
Kelly has some amazing recipes. You'll have to check it out on their website.
Ah, thanks. And then whole chicken or anything big, I always cook on a Sunday. Yeah. So easy. Throw a thermometer in. It's 170. You're good to go.
Perfect.
Nut butters. I made like some squash earlier this week. My husband doesn't like it. Mine.
Her husband is hilarious. She's Be Well by Kelly on Instagram and all of her handles, and her husband is Be Bad by Chris.
Pretty funny.
And he basically just posts about all really crappy food.
Yeah, exactly.
Delicious food, but oh my god, what are those?
So these are chocolate peanut butter protein balls. And these are so super easy to make. There's a company called Protein Bar Mix, and I just found them and I'm really liking them because a lot of the protein bars out there are actually like carbohydrate sugar bars, not protein bars.
Yeah, I know.
So this company, you just mix the powder and it has like, if you want the whey version or the pea version, they have both. They do like a chocolate chip with like nuts and hemp hearts and stuff like that. And you just literally add like a nut butter or coconut oil, mix it up, make little balls, throw it in your fridge.
Love it.
So always have almond milk, berries, Chris's beers, Be Bad by Chris. Can't ever not have those around. Some bone broth, that's always quick and easy.
Simple.
Simple and easy.
That's the key, keeping it simple.
Yeah. So, and it really is like, if we want to indulge and have a good time, like, we'll go somewhere for a single serving of something like a pressed juicery freeze or beaming for a chocolate chip cookie or something like that. Like, we try not to keep it around as much, but we're all out. We keep the dark chocolate up there, but didn't make it to the weekend.
Cool. Well, I'm super excited. So one of Kelly's signature things is her Fab 4 smoothie. So we're going to take a moment to have her run us through making a Fab 4 smoothie, the perfect recipe, and getting into kind of what the importance of protein, fat, fiber, and greens are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so now on to the good stuff, the stuff that really matters, which again is the Fab 4, protein, fat, fiber, and greens.
Yes.
So let's just talk really quick about why each of those are super important.
Sure. So together, when you eat those 4 things together, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you actually regulate over 8 hunger hormones in your body. So if you have one takeaway of my philosophy, it's that I'd like to eat, feel full and satisfied, and not think about food for 4 to 6 hours. I don't want to feel like I need to snack. I don't want to feel shaky, hungry, dependent on food, needing to pack food, plan, prep. Like
that
I want it to be
dream. Yes.
I want it to be super easy. And what I found for me was that the Fab 4 is a light enough structure for me to be able to eat out with friends, go to parties where they're providing food, and I just look and say, do I have a little bit of protein? Do I have a little bit of fat? Can I fill half my plate with veggies?
Yeah.
And
I think that's the biggest problem with filling, and this is what I say all the time, because we constantly all plan our meals around our meat. How do we first start with the greens and veggies?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first big step.
It's so, it's so important, and it's such a, just like phytochemicals, nutrients, vitamins. I mean, people are always like, how do I lose weight? How do I lose weight? And it's like, if I do a micronutrient test on you, you don't have any B vitamins, or you're low in vitamin K or like low in vitamin D, like we're never going to get you where you need to go. And that's really coming from, you know, the vitamins and minerals that are present in those things that we're eating.
So when it comes to protein specifically and fat, when is it too much? I feel like now we're living in an age where everyone's like protein, 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 and we're eating too much probably.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that like excess protein actually doesn't stay as protein. It will turn into sugar.
Yeah, definitely. There's only a certain amount of protein that our body can digest at one time in one sitting. And a good ballpark benchmark for you is 30 grams, which would be no more than like 6 ounces of protein.
Yeah.
I think that that's a good, you know, for a woman, 4 to 6. I do have men that eat about 6 to 8, but sitting down to like a 16-ounce T-bone, some of that will be digested into amino acids and kept as protein, but your body might convert some of that to sugar. It's called gluconeogenesis. It's a creation of sugar from other things, and that's, you know, that's defeating the whole purpose. Yeah. And I think also, you know, it is important to know that we have like an amino acid pool in our body, and it needs to be refilled. We have a need for amino acids that we can't synthesize internally. Like there's a certain number of what we call essential amino acids, and you need to get that from your food, but most people are getting it. And I would say if you're having somewhere around 20 grams of protein at each meal, which can easily come from nuts and seeds and things, or vegetable-based protein powders, or, you know, there's a lot of protein in the food you'd be surprised. We don't need to always be thinking about hitting 150 grams of protein. It's a little bit of an overkill.
What about fat? Because I know people say like 1 to 2 tablespoons of fat at each meal, but I can eat that entire avocado.
So I'm so with you. I think if it's liquid fat, like an olive oil or avocado oil, 2 tablespoons is a great, like the size of your thumb is a tablespoon. I always love that, right? And like,
that's so small.
Right, exactly. So 2 tablespoons of liquid fat when you're cooking, on your veggies, when you're roasting, when you're sauteing, when you're dressing a salad. When it comes to complex fats like coconut meat, avocado, real olives, like I slivered almonds, nuts, hemp hearts on my salad. I really am not overthinking it. Like that's a pretty small avocado. I could probably eat the whole thing. On, you know, with crackers, on my salad, and I prioritize fat. So if I were to give you like a hierarchy of the things that I want to eat at every meal, veggies always come first, right? But to get the nutrients out of the vegetables, a lot of them are fat soluble. Phytochemicals and antioxidants are actually more highly absorbed when we're adding fats to our salad. So there was a study that came out on absorption and bioavailability of phytochemicals, and it increases 300% when you add avocado to a salad, which is really great, right? So it's like you're doing all this work to like eat clean, but you also want it to be available in your body. So I would say fat is my second hierarchy. I think that like when you're having, you know, the veggies and the greens, the fiber and the greens in your food, then it would be fat, then it would be protein. And so I really am not a stickler with fat. I think it's one of the things that really keeps me full and not thinking about food for 4 to 6 hours.
Unless I feel like a lot of people have the problem of having too much fat and too much carb together. And that's where we can get in trouble. I mean, avocado toast for days. Understanding your macronutrients are really important. Like I think, and that's really, we don't need to overthink the fat. We need to really just think about the carbohydrates and what we've burned and what we have space for, and giving our body a break. And it's really not giving our body the break on glucose, because we know what to do with glucose. It's giving our body a break on the hormones that follow glucose, like insulin. And then fiber. We're all pretty deficient in fiber, right?
Average, I think the latest average was like women on average get 13 to 20 grams of fiber in a day, and our ancestors got somewhere above 65 grams to 80 grams on average, and that wasn't long ago. I mean,
how much should we be having now?
Actually, the government will tell you 30 grams. I would say double that. Like 60 is probably where I'm looking for people to hit, because it is pretty hard. Like you put a couple cups of veggies on your plate and you might get 8 or 10. And then when it comes to other sources of fiber, I'm like, how can we add it in? How can we, like, you know, complex fats like avocado are a great source of fiber. Real olives, great source of fiber. But when everything's refined and the fiber goes away. So that is another reason why when I did create the Fab 4 smoothie, which is the smoothie formula that has all the Fab 4 in it and can be fruit free, and I actually preach that that's probably the way you should go 80-90% of the time, because I'm really looking to turn off hunger, not take you on a blood sugar roller coaster like we talked about. But it's really easy to add fiber to a shake. Flax, chia, acacia fiber, psyllium husk, depends on the person, but there's a lot of ways to do that.
Yeah, so should we make this
Let's
smoothie?
do it.
Okay, so what do we start with?
So always start with liquid.
Okay.
And that's just like a stickler thing that I have because everything gets stuck at the bottom.
Okay.
You do liquid first. True. And also it gives you a good idea because a lot of, like, this is a Vitamix, but even like a Cuisinart or whatever, it's going to show you cups. So it's a really easy way to like know that you're...
I actually was always doing it backwards before, so this is...
I mean, that works too.
Yeah, but it wasn't blending that well, so now I know.
Yeah, so I go to about the 1.5 or 2 cup mark. Sometimes I do a cup of unsweetened almond milk, a cup of water. Sometimes I do coconut water. Sometimes I do, whatever nut milk. Try to make sure they're unsweetened. Yeah. That's a really, you're trying so hard to be healthy.
I mean, the sweetened ones literally sometimes can have like 20 grams per cup, which is crazy.
They're just like sugar, dates, whatever they're doing to sweeten it. You gotta be careful.
Even when I realize for people that like get drinks at like Coffee Bean or Starbucks, if you don't ask, they typically are giving you a sweetened version. So you think you're being healthy, getting the almond milk, but you're not really.
Right. I actually have a hack for that.
What?
Whole Foods is the only place that does an unsweetened almond milk latte.
Oh.
So I actually get my coffees at Whole Foods.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then I would say that be careful at specialty places that are using specifically the barista almond milk. It's a red container.
Terrible. Yeah.
It's way higher in sugar so that it foams. Because the baristas want it to look like a regular latte, but that's based on the sugar. Like in real milk, it's the lactose sugar that's creating the foam.
Or just make it at home.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, make it at home.
Okay, so we got the almond milk. Now what do you put in?
Then I go for protein.
Okay.
So this is a vanilla collagen-based protein. It's like so yummy.
For those of you that don't know Primal Kitchen, I'm obsessed. They have the best dressings and mayo that's made from avocado oil, so it's actually super healthy.
Yeah, it's great.
And delicious.
So their collagen serving is actually 2 scoops. I would just look on the back anytime. Nutrition Facts will tell you if a serving to get your 20 grams of protein is 1 or 2 scoops. So this is 2.
I feel like most of the plant-based or collagen ones are 2.
Yeah.
It's the whey that's just the one.
The one.
For the most part,
exactly. Yeah. So I always go protein, fat, fiber, greens.
Perfect.
It's the easiest way to remember. So the spa smoothie has avocado as the fat. I'll let you do the honors. Just squeeze the whole half in there. Yeah. So if it's a small one like this from Whole Foods, I'd say a half. If it's like the Costco gargantuan size of your face avocado, a quarter is a good amount. Then we're going for fiber. So this is a chia and flax blend. I like chia seeds, flax seeds, like I said, acacia, psyllium husk. If you do get a blended or a ground flax or chia though, please keep it in the refrigerator because the oils are then opened up and they can oxidize with heat and light.
Good to know.
So 1 to 2 tablespoons of fat, 1 to 2 tablespoons of fiber. So there's our protein, fat, and fiber. And then we're going to go greens. So how much are we getting? That's
5 grams of fiber there, right? Or did you put... Oh, for
2 tablespoons?
2, yeah.
So, we're getting only 5 grams of fiber. So you can see that's like...
Yeah.
You're expecting to get so much more, and it's a little here, a
Yeah.
little there.
Yeah.
This is where we get more fiber, right here. A big handful of greens, and you're probably going, gross, ew, green smoothies, tastes like a salad.
No.
A good blender really helps. But what also really helps and has been like such a clutch move for me is adding a half of an organic lemon juice. It's going to cut through all the bitterness of those greens. And if you really don't like greens, microgreens is a great way to go. 14 times the nutrition, a very small handful. You can throw it in and it still would taste like a vanilla.
I use a lot of frozen spinach, and frozen spinach or just spinach in general, you can add to literally if you're having like a chocolate protein shake, and you won't taste it.
And honestly, it's great because you don't have to add the ice. It isn't diluted. The flavor is still really strong. And also, like, talk about meal prepping. If you just have a couple bags of frozen spinach in your freezer, you don't have to worry about the veggies going bad or, you don't want to throw away food.
No.
So,
All
right, we're plugged in. Let's make sure it's not on high. Yeah, you're like,
cover the top,
don't
please.
do it. It's probably good.
And this is your spa smoothie, right?
This is my spa smoothie. I sometimes add Persian cucumber to this, and I sometimes add mint to this. but it really, you know, it's the avocado that makes it creamy. It's the lemon that cuts the greens. So,
oh my God, it already smells delicious.
Let's see how you like it.
Oh my God, that's so good. Seriously,
Specialty.
It's amazing. This is my first Kelly Spa smoothie.
Cheers, Mama.
I made my own. It doesn't taste this good.
I would say the fresh lemon, the good protein. It's really about the protein for the base flavor.
So proud of you of everything that you've accomplished. And before we go, I have one question to ask you, and that is, if you were to give your top 3 secrets to living a healthy, happy, sexy life, what would that be?
I would say for me, movement is really, really, really important. And not necessarily like breaking my body down, but doing something that I need. Like, I do need yoga. It really is centering. It's a stress reliever for me. So if movement becomes a stress reliever for you, I think that's really good. I would probably make this more important than movement, but would just be relationships.
Yeah.
I think it can be, especially nowadays, we get in our phones, we get in our computer, we grow, and we're not seeing our friends, and we're not connecting with our families, and just like taking a minute, because that's where the magic happens. Yeah. And then I would say, obviously, as a nutritionist, trying to find balance and eat clean doesn't mean you live in this glass box of perfection, but instead just really think about adding to your life instead of, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. It's more enrich instead of deprive, and live off an eat and do not eat list. I think that's destructive. So yeah.
I love that. Well, awesome. I'm so glad you let us invade your home for this first episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, if you do, please make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.
Aww, love you.
Love you.